fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. While all eyes understandably have turned overnight to the horrific act in Las Vegas, and our hearts and prayers obviously go out to them, Canada still must face its issues, and I know we will to some extent, I am sure. We in Canada are obviously reeling from a terror attack in Edmonton, Alberta. First of all, I want you to listen to a couple of clips I've got. One is from CTV News, and I want you to listen to the fact that they are extremely reluctant to mention the name of the person until right to the very end. The second clip is from the Premier of Alberta, Rachel Notley. Not once does she use the words terror or terrorism or even terrorist act. And further, and if you watch the clip, I am sure that many of you have already seen this, why does anybody need cue cards to talk about this horrific act that has been committed on Canadian soil? It would be far better and far more genuine if anyone was speaking on this matter would be speaking extemporaneously, that is, without notes. Please note that the word hate was introduced in the speech, but no mention at all of terrorism. Now, finally, we have the words of the Prime Minister of Canada, and then I will give my thoughts.
A Somali refugee once investigated by the RCMP for extremist ideology is now being questioned by police as a suspected terrorist. The 30-year-old was arrested last night after a violent attack in downtown Edmonton that sent a police officer and 4 pedestrians to hospital. The officer was brutally stabbed after being deliberately mowed down by a speeding car with an ISIS flag in the front seat. Police say the suspect then used a rented van to plow into pedestrians outside a football stadium. Abdullahi Sharif faces 5 counts of attempted murder as well as terrorism charges.
The horrific events last night in downtown Edmonton have left us all shocked and angry. Shocked at the indiscriminate cruelty and angry that someone might target their hatred at places where we gather with our friends and our families. Our thoughts and prayers are with the injured and with their loved ones, and with everyone who witnessed last night's violence.
This is a comment from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who is condemning the terrorist attack overnight in Alberta, Canada. Quote, as a terrorist attack and a senseless act of violence, unquote, he further stated, quote, early reports indicate that this is another example of the hate that we must remain ever vigilant against, unquote, Trudeau said in a statement lauding the first responders and police officers. Quote, we cannot and will not let violent extremism take root in our communities. We know that Canada's strengths come from our diversity, and we will not be cowed by those who seek to divide us or promote fear, unquote. Now here are my thoughts. First of all, it must have been very difficult for the Prime Minister of Canada to use the word terrorist. Surely you remember his Muslim buddy Obama refusing to use it on a number of occasions. And I'm sure that his speechwriters were trying to figure out every which way not to use it, but in the end, they had no choice. Second, yet again, the lefty word hate was injected into his comments. Do you think that was by accident? Now here's my comment on the whole thing. The people who came to this country were screened. I know I was. Criminal backgrounds, etc., etc. Was this person? We don't know. It appears that the RCMP knew about this guy. Why did they know about him, and what did they know? And what made them aware? We don't know that, do we? And this is a comment which you won't like, but it's a fact. And they can't deny this. And this is not hate speech, it's a fact. It's not Christians who are taking trucks and ramming them into either police or pedestrians, is it? But this government in particular will not address this issue. No, it's more important that you Canadians not be allowed to speak out and speak freely in a public place. That's far more important. Ask yourself, why should it be so important that Canadians have a muzzle on their free speech? What are politicians really afraid of? Could it be that Canadians will find out the truth that this government in particular, they are not unique, but they have certainly increased the problem exponentially, that Canadians will in fact find out the truth that people in positions of power have been lying to us about their real intentions for years? Could it be that simple? I think yes. Finally, I ask you, how much of this crap are you going to take? Because until one of them, that is the political class, is attacked, which will happen sooner or later, nothing will change in Canada. Nothing. You have to understand that simple point. You, as an individual, are expendable to achieve their goal. Nothing and no one will get in their way. Remember that. You are expendable. Why and how do I conclude this? Well, it's simple. If they were genuine, if they really believed what they said, then they would take drastic action to protect you today, right now. What drastic action? Okay? Such as stop all immigration immediately for 30 days. That is, stop it. Stone dead. No one coming in as of this morning. Start a nationwide investigation of immigrants that have entered into Canada in the last year, and then roll that back 5 and 10 years. It will take that sort of drastic action to root out the terrorist cancer that has embedded itself into Canadian society. And this would be done even at the cost of their political careers, because Canadians' safety is more important, isn't it? No, you know, and I know that will never happen. Your thoughts? You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, and email. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.